We first brought you this story in February when a Pearl District landlord filed a tort claim warning the city if the impacts of this shelter were not mitigated, then a lawsuit would follow. Well, that lawsuit has now been filed. Attorney John DiLorenzo filed the suit against the city of Portland and the Salvation Army on behalf of the owners of the Oro apartment complex, which sits next to the city's 200-bed overnight shelter on Northwest Northrop Street. The lawsuit accuses the city of nuisance, negligence, and inverse condemnation, which claims the city's actions effectively damaged the value of the property without compensation.
This is not a first step. We have had numerous conversations. We've put forth effort reporting instances, reporting tents, all of that, and it has all gone unheard and unresolved. And so it is disappointing that our voice does not matter.
The city and the Salvation Army are negligent. They are maintaining a nuisance. And we believe there are remedies in court.
The lawsuit claims the shelter has caused more than $5 million in lost property value.
You take a look at our rental rate loss immediately after the shelter opened, and it's like dropping off a cliff. How many people want to live in an environment where when they get home in the evening or leave in the morning, they are greeted with urination, defecation, vomit, people passed out, people having drug-related issues?
But the lawsuit goes far beyond property values. It raises questions about how the shelter was approved in the first place. Records show the city signed a lease for the building in May, but many neighbors and nearby businesses say they didn't learn about the shelter until a month or two later, when postcards advertising the shelter's grand opening appeared in their mailboxes.
The lease was entered into quietly, right? What we mean by that is no one knew about the lease, and the lease with the owner of the building specifically provides that it will be confidential. Well, who does that unless they don't want anybody to know?
They probably knew the community would not be happy about it.
And they were not.
They had about 500 angry residents.
Everyone saw the public outrage when this was announced. We knew it was going to happen. The city knew it was going to happen. The mayor said that we were going to be the tip of the spear, and so he can't be surprised.
In January, the Oro apartment complex hired Echelon Investigative Services to monitor conditions around the shelter. The 48-page report details what they call predictable spillover impacts.
Almost every day there's someone urinating or defecating on our building, numerous instances of drug use with needles and foil getting left behind.
The lawsuit also argues the city failed to follow its own shelter guidelines, which require operators to perform regular perimeter checks and cleanup, respond to neighborhood concerns in a timely manner, and prevent surrounding streets from becoming gathering spaces for shelter guests.
Those promises have been unkept.
And we have documented painstakingly, I think, in our notice, all of the areas in which they have fallen short.
In the report, investigators documented repeated open drug use, trash scattered on the sidewalks, and groups lingering in the residential blocks surrounding the shelter after guests were released each morning. Neighbors say they've noticed waste and disorder that wasn't there before the shelter opened.
There's definitely drug paraphernalia, trash. There's a tent right there on that corner for like 2 weeks. Bodily fluids, fecal matter, trash everywhere. My car was stolen right when the shelter was getting out at 5 in the morning. Thankfully, I got on the cameras right here.
A city shuttle used to run between the overnight shelter and a day center in Old Town each morning to move shelter guests out of the Pearl District. But the city pulled back on the service, noting a high need for the shuttle elsewhere.
And I personally just don't think it's fair for anyone, for us or for them, because they don't have anywhere to go during the day and then they just hang out in the area. So without the services for them here, it's just kind of a lose-lose situation.
In my own visit to the shelter during a morning release, I counted more than 100 people leaving and walking into the surrounding neighborhood within just minutes.
That's problematic.
Portland Mayor Keith Wilson has previously defended the shelter as part of the city's effort to expand shelter capacity and enforce regulations. In response to the legal notice filed last month warning of the lawsuit, the mayor wrote that Mr. DiLorenzo had previously supported expanding the shelter space and was wrong to oppose this one now. DiLorenzo says the lawsuit is not about opposing shelters, but about how this one is operating.
I am all for shelters, but they should be shelters that help people transition and get services that are sorely needed and help them break their addictions and help them deal with their mental health issues, not a warehouse that just warehouses them and does nothing else.
The lawsuit asks the court for damages and potentially an injunction that could force operational changes or even close the shelter.
The debate is now heading to court, where a judge will ultimately decide whether the shelter's impacts amount to legal liability for the city. The city has not issued a new statement, but rather a spokesperson told me they are standing by their previous comment about the shelter's operations, defending it and saying it's wrong to oppose it. Mackenzie Richmond, Fox 12 Oregon.